Hey everyone, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing some spring cleaning and organizing with our ink blending tool sponges, and I thought this would be a really good segue into a giveaway that I'm having over on my Instagram, so that's linked in the description if you're interested in that. Today we're going to be organizing all of our ink blending tool sponges, or at least I will be doing so for my Catherine Pooler ink collection, and I'm going to be using the We Are Memory Keepers ring photo sleeves pockets, and I got this at AC Moore, which is just a craft store that's near me. These are available pretty much everywhere. I will link a few in the description so that you can have a look. I'm also going to be using some cardstock, and I am using 110 pound cardstock because I want this to be very sturdy, but you can use really any cardstock that you'd like. I'll be using a pen, but of course you could always use a label maker if you wanted to. I just wanted this to be super simple and easy, and really it's only for me, so I wanted it to be as simple as I could possibly make it. And that's really just to write down the ink pad names, but you will also need a paper cutter or scissors if you're really good at measuring with your eye. So to get started, I'm going to need to cut my cardstock into the correct size that will fit into each pocket. So right now I'm just pulling out one of the sheets to get it ready because I'm honestly not quite sure how many Catherine Pooler inks I have at this point, but there are 9 pockets on each page, and each page there's 10 pages, so there's 90 in here. And it says that each square is 3.5 by 2.625 inches. So when I cut my cardstock, I'm going to cut it slightly smaller than those measurements. So I'm going to cut it slightly smaller than 3.5, and then once I've cut all of the strips into 3.5, I'm going to turn it and cut at that point slightly more than 2.5, because 2.625 is sort of a specific and tough measurement to get, for me anyway, on my paper cutter, so I'm just doing slightly bigger than 2.5. And before I cut every piece, just to make sure that it fits, it would be really terrible to get to the end and realize that they were all cut incorrectly, so I'm just going to make sure that this fits, and it does perfectly. I don't want to have to struggle to get it in or out. I just want it to be nice and flush and fit very easily. So again, I'm using a pen to label each ink pad name, but you could definitely use a label maker if that's something that you prefer. And I'm just going to put the sponges right onto the cardstock before I slip the cardstock with the sponge in. I didn't want any Velcro or any double-sided tape. I didn't want to have to tear the sponge off because for me, I don't know if I just do it with a heavy hand, but I tend to ruin the ink pad sponges, the ink blending tool sponges when I do have to pull it often. So I just wanted to make sure that I could just take it out easily and didn't have to put any pressure on it to come off. The way that I'll be organizing these is by color group. So I'm doing all blues first and then greens after that. Then I'll be going into the yellows, the oranges, reds and pinks, and then purples and my darkest colors. And this is just to make it easier for me to find everything. Like I said, it's not an incredible amount of ink pads. I don't have thousands and thousands, but it's nice to be able to sort of see what you need. If I wanted to blend something to look like a sky, I'd like to be able to see all of the blue colors that I have to decide which one I think would be best. And the sponges are really great for this because they show the color right there. So you don't need to blend on something else or do an ink swatch on the actual label because the sponges show itself what the color is. And you see that I have some blank sponges in there, and that's because I've actually decided to sort of replace the sponges. They were a little ripped or messed up, so I will be going in later to do some blending to make sure that you can see the colors on all of the sponges. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now just as I finish up putting the last bits of the sponges into the pockets. And I'm going to be using Bellini because this is one that I needed to replace. So as you can see, the sponge is completely white and hasn't been used yet, so it's not showing any color. So I'm just going to take a scrap piece of paper and blend Bellini all over it to make sure that the sponge itself has that bright, sort of like peachy orange color. And here are all of the pockets. And you could put this in a 3-ring binder. I want this hanging near my ink pads, so I'm going to be using this little bracelet that I have just to put all of them on the very top, or I'm going to put it through the very top rung of them all. And now they'll hang nicely. And I put all of my ink pads in one of those 3-tier carts, like the Raskogs from IKEA. So it's just going to hang right there, like you see over one of the tabs. And I love that it's so easily accessible and you can see it, so you want to use it, and it looks pretty all at the same time. It was also really simple to do, and it's easy to add more as I get more. So I hope that you were inspired maybe to do a little spring cleaning of your own, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Check out my Instagram for my giveaway in the description, and I will see you soon. Bye.